and welcome to another episode of This Week in Community. I'm your co-host, Simon Tomes. I'm joined by the wonderful co-host, Nicola Earle. Nicola, how are you doing? How's things been? How has your week in community? What's been happening?
Well, I'm good, thanks, Simon. And I've had a very community week. I was at London Community Week last week, so I got to hang out with Rosie a lot, which was wonderful as always. And this week I am sitting down at my desk, getting back into the normal routine, looking at my work and thinking, right, now what do I do? Where do I go from here?
I got it. I mean, London Community Week sounds epic, and I really feel I had so much FOMO, so I wasn't able to attend. My wife was also at a conference in a completely different industry, but we couldn't managing the childcare and all that stuff would have been a challenge. So hopefully I can go next year, is what I'm saying. But it looked amazing. Like, I was following along on LinkedIn. Obviously, I've had debrief chats with Rosie. This Week in Community was recorded live. So yeah, it was so funny. So Rosie was sat down in one of the areas, press record, and then she bumped into Marie Cruz, who's part of the MoTaverse community, because she's a developer advocate for a software as a service provider. So they were like, you're here. I'm like, oh, you're here. So she actually sat next to Rosie and joined This Week in Community. So they're opposite each other on the screen. So funny.
Oh, brilliant. I papped Rosie while she was filming it, so I must send you that photo. I thought it was nice to capture, that nice moment in time where Rosie was doing a podcast live at a conference. And it's just fun. It's real, isn't it?
Yeah, totally. And Rosie did ask me, she said, ask Nicola about her stalking skills. So did Rosie come, what did she do? Did she come find you, or what was she up to? What was going on there?
I knew she was going to be recording it, and I was outside at that point, and I thought, if I see Rosie doing it, I must take a picture.
I see, right.
It.
Yeah.
So I just happened to, I papped her basically.
That's it. I got it. I get it now. I can join the dots on that. That's brilliant. So you were you were MC, right? Which is amazing. Like, that's full on intense, like a real role. And I wondered, what was that experience like? To do that.
I kept saying to people, I don't like to call myself MC, because in the UK, don't you think it reminds you of like garage MC?
It does. Yeah. You're dropping some banging tunes.
I thought I should be standing up there kind of
on the decks.
Entertainment. So I kept saying, I'm hosting.
Yes.
I do get called MC. But yes, I mean, it was the first time I have done something like that at a big in-person event.
Right.
See, as community builders, we're quite used to facilitating online events, and that's something I'm quite comfortable with. I do that all the time. But this was a bit different, being in person, and there's a lot to think about, because you've got who's on next, what time is it, are things keeping on time, handing over mics, introducing people, watching what the crowd's doing, what the mood is, trying to get people along in time. So it was a lot. It was intense, but a great experience and opportunity to give it a go. And I think, thinking back to as community builders and people who host and facilitate things, it's about making the audience feel safe and comfortable. They know what's going on. And, I'm not a stand-up comedian or a professional MC or anything like that. So I knew I wasn't going to stand up and have lots of bits to say.
Yeah.
I was just checking in on people, trying to do a bit of connecting from one to the next, that was actually something I was hoping to be a bit better at. But because I was focusing on lots of things, it was hard to really tune in and listen to the talks fully. I was thinking about, when's the next one, and where's the microphone gone, and chairs on the stage. But yes, trying to be a good host, a good party event host, making sure everyone's all right.
I love it. Well, congratulations. It's full on, right? It is intense. And that kind of timekeeping even that as just one example is fascinating and hard, because it's like I end up actually now having to write everything down when it comes to timekeeping. So like at the last event we hosted in London, it was quite a small event. Was it 40 or 50 people? But I was like, right, okay, our schedule is this, but we're 3 minutes behind. So like make a note of that. This section started at this. It's like, oh, can we get some of that time back? We finished at this bit and then making a few adjustments and stuff like that. But it's like, and that's just a small part of it. And I love the way you describe just being able to read the room and read the energy and get a sense of like, where are people at? I think that's a real skill, and hard, right? Given a diverse group of people in a room, getting a sense. But I love the way you describe it as just making people feel safe and welcome, and just they kind of know they know what's coming, they know what's next, and they feel like they don't feel lost. I think that's super important. Um, and I think the ad libbing thing is an interesting one, isn't it? Like, because I've seen it where, say, the tech isn't working and someone's like trying to get tech support with someone on stage and they're trying to get their laptop working, or microphone's not quite set up right. um, that can be interesting. It's like, right, what's in the back pocket for like ad libbing? I reflect, I guess my go-to is just interacting with the audience. Like, so tell us about, something you've learned so far, asking that question, and then hopefully someone's up for putting their hand up. And if they don't, it's like, okay, right, let's share a learning back. So it might encourage someone else to. But did any of that happen? Did you have any sort of tech issues where you're like, oh, I've got ad lib here? And
Yeah, we did a little bit in that one headset wasn't working, one clicker wasn't working, but we just reverted to using the mics. But
nice.
yes, I think I just did a couple of times a jokey little kind of deep voice into the mic. Please bear with us one moment, or we have a few technical issues. It just took
Love it.
or chat to the person next to you. But I love the idea of going into the audience and getting a bit of discussion going as well. That would have been a good one to have.
Yeah, it's I like that. I like the announcement, because like it's kind of like it keeps it light, and I think, given my assumption is, given the people in the room, there's definitely, I would assume there's a lot of patience for when things don't go to plan, which is, it's just I think helpful, in the sense that I think I would assume most community professionals know that it's like high stakes up on stage, and things can sometimes go in different directions. So yeah, cutting everyone a bit of slack if things do go wrong is always nice.
Yeah. And I wonder with that audience if, yes, they are patient and empathetic because they've all organised events, but also are their standards very high?
Oh yeah. Good point.
Know what makes a good event? I think it goes possibly a bit both ways. I don't know. Oh, I think they're kind for things going wrong, but they know the details that make an event, elevate an event.
Yeah. Oh, I like it. That's a hot take. Because I mean, I mean, I'm not going to speak on behalf of the audience because I wasn't there, and I don't want to make some assumptions. But it makes you wonder if people like, wouldn't have done that, or I do that differently,
Yeah.
Okay. But who knows? And I'm assuming, there will be opportunity for folks to share feedback and all that stuff, which is always good. For conference organizers to get that feedback, whether they choose to act on it or not, entirely up to them, of course. But it sounded great. I mean, I managed to. There was some good posts kind of happening off the back of it online. Some were jumping out, but did one actually was one of your posts, where you kind of quoted like a general sense of, the line was, I'm feeling quite overwhelmed and frazzled. And you were saying that it came up a lot when you were chatting to community pals and peers at last week's London Community Week. So work is moving fast, life is moving fast, we're all feeling it. I know this isn't exclusive to community professionals, it applies to anyone, but it was comfort to know that you're not alone. helpful reminder to look after ourselves and each other, to keep talking and keep sharing, to give ourselves a break from the tech and the screens and step outside. I love that. It really stood out.
Oh, good. Yeah, thank you. It was those coffee break chats or evening chats that you
Mm,
had, and how are you? And it's, I'm good. I'm good. It's there's a lot going on. Just kind of
mm,
comes up for people, and everything's moving so quickly, and our little caveman brains can't really quite
mm.
keep up with it all, can they? And I think
Totally.
probably so many of us are working remotely, or at least working remotely some of the time, and it's quite easy to be stuck into your work, and then you might check in on LinkedIn, and then you're stuck into your work,
Mm,
and people share the good things, and I've learned to do this with AI, and I've done this, and but really we're just all figuring out. So it's just good to name it and know
mm.
that it's okay. We're all feeling that a bit. We're feeling
Yeah,
behind, but we're not.
that's really important, right? And I think also in that, I think in an in-person environment, like, I guess the context matters. Like if it's a quick catch up, you bump into someone you haven't seen for a while, and it's like, oh, how's it going? And like sometimes it can be quite top level conversation, just because that's the nature of it's fast paced, and you're like, oh, I got to go over here, and they're like, oh, I got to go over here. But like the kind of the deep down nitty gritty of like, let's be honest here, it is that difficult. It is tough. Yeah, I think maybe, and again, I'm making some assumptions about our role as community professionals. We tend to be optimistic. I would say like cautiously optimistic in some cases, but we tend to be like upbeat and up for it, and like, yeah, let's go kind of vibes, because we're trying to help move communities in a community or groups communities in a positive direction. Um, so when we get to kind of meet other community professionals, it's like, oh, we can like chill a bit with our energy perhaps, and just actually just have some frank conversations. So I think it's nice when folks can get to do that. And I think, I'm hopeful in today's episode, previous episodes, future episodes of This Week in Community, that just kind of say things how they might be, not how we think they should be, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, makes sense. And this is what having an open conversation does: is you're able to sit down and be honest with each other. You're not trying to present something in a perfectly polished
Mhm.
10 minute
Yeah, yeah.
or write it up in a post or something like that. You're just having a chat, which is what humans enjoy doing.
Yeah, totally. Totally. Was there anyone that you met who you kind of knew online but hadn't met in person before? You have any of those moments?
Kimmy Costa, I had been
Oh, right.
talking to online for a
Interesting.
while, and she had mentioned she was coming over, and and she hadn't been to attended one previously, and I'd reached out and said hi, and she was a joy to meet, and she was chatting to
Awesome.
everybody and seemed to make loads of great contacts. So it was really nice to meet her. I think otherwise, a lot of people I knew, because I've been going. That's the third year, and I've gone
Mm,
3 years. Um,
yeah,
and there was, I wonder how many it was, but there's a good chunk of returners who come every year.
it's great.
And then there were some new people as well who had not met before, and then it's really nice to learn about totally different communities that you might, not have heard of. Well, you just don't know they exist until someone tells you about them. But there's a
Yeah,
community for everything, isn't there?
absolutely. It's wild, and that's what I find fascinating about our industry is like there's so many different contexts and so many different types of community, and their goals. Yet the running themes of like members trying to make sense of the reasons why they're connecting with other members feels consistent. Um, so I find that fascinating. Like so many different types of communities out there, yet there is like shared experiences as community professionals that we can talk about and discuss and have those moments where it's like, oh yeah, like our contexts are very different, but we are sharing similar challenges or interesting things that are happening in the space right now.
Yeah. No, you're right. The challenges are remarkably similar,
Mm,
and the trends of challenges seem to be pretty consistent as well, don't they? Um, I think, I mean, it's just what's going on around us. But I know a few years back we were more talking about ROI and things like that, and now we're all talking about AI. That's still ROI. I mean, that never stops being. But we're all influenced by all the things going on externally to our community, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really interesting. Yeah. It's like, the kind of external forces that we have control of, others that we don't. Like, how does that we put that on top of our communities? What does that mean? How do we kind of like, do we counter some of those forces if we can? Like, what does that mean? And like, do we do things differently to stand out? Like, I certainly think with what we're doing with the MoTaverse, building our own platform from scratch and having evolved it feels very different to like, perhaps what some other communities are up to, where they're relying on other platforms, third-party platforms, to host certain things and do certain things. So that feels interesting.
It does. I think you guys are always a bit ahead of the trends.
Right? Yeah. That'd be Rosie.
Yeah, it's Rosie. She is. She can see into the future somehow. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but yeah,
It's
there's
true.
still obviously lots of platform discussions
Yes.
happening. The talks aren't about the platforms. Obviously, there's some sponsors there, but they don't talk about their platform. They can talk about something else. But we're all still, I think, as community managers, stuck in what does your platform do? What does this do? What features are there and things like that? Because that ends up being your day to day, doesn't it? And you've got to do the best with the tool that you inherit or decide to purchase or whatever. But building is exciting. And actually on the first day, which was the day that Rosie did a workshop, and then we had a hackathon in the afternoon, people were having a play with Lovable. We were given some Lovable credits in the afternoon to all have a play and come up with things. But some of the things that people are building on Lovable are incredible now, and they can be in control of. I mean, I actually don't. It's a good point, because this topic did come up, and I think you discussed it on a previous, or maybe Rosie talks about it in her workshop. But owning the data, I don't know with Lovable where all your goes. I'm not a Lovable pro. I've had to play. That's what I've got.
I mean, it's a great question, right? And Rosie's workshop on emphasizing the importance of data. And I was going to call out Serena Snowd. Apologies if I mispronounce their surname. Serena called it out, and I thought it was really great what they said. I think we have a problem in the community profession, and it's linked to a question I asked Rosie Sherry during London Community Week. We're great at talking about trends and tactics in community building, but something's missing. Rosie feels that we're not talking about data enough, and I totally agree, because data tells you what you are doing, what's going well, what people think, and you should prioritize owning your data, a vital topic. Which I thought was great. And then actually a shout out that Serena is looking for. Well, Serena says, I'm considering the part I can play in gathering not-for-profit community professionals, so public sector, not-profits, charities, but I can't do it alone. So Serena says, if you're interested in generating ideas or providing support, let me know. I think you also commented on that, Nicola, as well.
I did. I think I was one of the community professionals that had a chat with her, because
good. Yeah.
So at Mobilise, because we support unpaid carers, we are a business, but because of the area that we work in, kind of, supporting people, I'll often have chats with Serena, because she's got loads of experience in the charity sector, and
Amazing.
she worked for many years at Alzheimer's UK, managing their community, and actually now runs her own consultancy, so she gets to work with lots of different charities. But I think there's a lot that can be drawn from, because it's lots of carers. So we've had some nice chats, and I think we just would love to chat to more people doing similar things and find out what they're up to and share and learn.
Yeah, I love that. It's, I mean, finding because I had that chat with one of my colleagues today. We were thinking so the MoTaverse is a community of practice for historically software testing and quality professionals. So we're expanding it to the world of tech. So you could be a software engineer, designer, product person, CTO, etc., etc. But we were thinking if if we are able to use our data to identify industry sectors of our members, we could then set up chapters based on industry. So we could have a financial services chapter, for example. We could have like, I don't know, health tech chapter. And what that would mean is while those people would be working in different organizations, maybe even competitors, maybe partners or whatever, gathering people around an industry context could be interesting as well. It's like maybe a layer down from the fact that they are quality professionals. They're actually, oh, we're in the same industry. So there's even more similarity in our challenges and things that we can share with each other. But it relies on the data. And we kept coming back to data like, well, how do we identify this data? So we did one idea we spun up was actually to create, again, it's the AI word, create a Claude skill that would, when members join and we know that they work at a certain company, the Claude skill will go off and research that company. It will go and find out details, number of employees, revenue, yada, yada, industry sectors, product offering, are they hiring, all of that stuff. It's just some useful information, useful insights about that organization. And then play that back to us. And then we can capture that and over time build up this data set of the organizations that our members work at, and then start cutting that data accordingly and seeing what trends are emerging and all of that stuff. But it's, again, how can we get a tool or an AI bot like Claude to go and do that for us? Because we can't. We could, and I do a bit of that research, but it would take time and effort to really go for it. So yeah, that was a use case that came up in literally in a conversation this morning, funnily enough.
That's really nice, because something actually I worked on in the past few months was reducing our sign up form, because you could obviously collect lots of things from people at sign up, which is really helpful data, which can help inform how well you can support them, their member journeys, all kinds of things.
Yeah.
But we had a drop-off rate. It wasn't too bad. It was sort of 20%. And I thought, let's run an experiment where we get it to the absolute minimum that we can, which for us is just kind of name. We have to collect postcode and year of birth as well. But it's three things, obviously email address, 4. But we did it, and like 20%
amazing
increase in sign-ups. So now we don't want to go back to collect information, but it was things which were, what's your caring situation? So who is it you're looking after? And we had a really nice one, which was, how are you feeling today? And it was
right. Yeah.
Was good, okay, not overwhelmed, or like I really need support. And like, it's like, how do you build those things back in?
Yeah.
You want to get people in so you can help. You don't want to put people off. All these questions. Why are you asking these questions? Especially for carers, they're always having to fill in forms.
Right, of course. So the last thing they want to be doing is filling out another massive form, right?
Whereas I'm the kind of person that I actually quite like filling in surveys and forms, but I think most people don't. I think it's a bit sad. If I get a survey, I think, oh yeah, I like this. But it's just taking the mental load off members, new members, isn't it? It's, I think it's different for different communities, but now you've mentioned your Claude skill, it's got me thinking, is there any way I could do something like that to draw more information out of people?
Yeah, it's like, I guess it's like filling gaps or providing extra insights. But I love your framing, like not putting friction, not putting the effort on the member. Like that just doesn't feel right. And even for those people that like filling out forms and surveys like yourself, and I'll fill out a survey because I'm like, I know there's somebody on the end of that who's relying on that data. So I'm like, I'll just do it anyway.
Oh, you think it will?
Like,
if you build it?
This is just can't help ourselves. It's just like, not another blooming survey, but I just know there's someone needs that data. But like, your framing of like reduce friction for the member, and then take that friction away and give that task to AI. Right? It feels like it's high value, but it's not like it could be high value, but I don't think it's high value that we've got other stuff to prioritize, right, as community builders. Yet it would be useful. So if we can build a skill to fill in some of the gaps and I guess that comes with some risks because it's going to make some assumptions. It might not quite get it right. But if it's good enough data, um, that might make it okay.
Yeah, and I keep coming back to the thought of, can AI help us be more inclusive as well? Because
Mm,
for lots of people, filling out these things is difficult, frustrating. Maybe their device is old, not very good. Maybe
yeah.
their literacy is not great. Whereas, like, the easier we can make accessing technology and communities, the more people will be able to join in and get, benefit from it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. It makes me think of the gov.uk site. I think, it's a great example of, I mean, their accessibility efforts are immense to really make the forms as accessible as possible, and given the amount of people that are on that site and the variety and diversity of people that will be using it's impressive. It's like the gold standard of, like, if you're going to design web forms and user flows, like their later flows are kind of very, very impressive from an accessibility perspective.
I have to download it. I access it on the browser, which
Right.
is just a bit hard to navigate. So I have to download the app now and have a look.
Yeah. Well, when I say app, sorry, I mean web app. So
Oh,
maybe there's, certain parts that you're hitting like
yeah,
Google's friction.
yeah.
Um, I just think for a web app like that, there's so many parts to it, and maybe they're kind of moving some of their older forms across. Maybe there's something in that.
But it is always simple, isn't it? It's like the NHS
Yes.
app. It's
Yes.
simple, and simple is accessible. And I think
Mm,
sometimes, as people who work in tech and perhaps have high expectations, and we've been early adopters of various tools and we love them, we want things to be a bit flashier sometimes.
mm.
But sometimes what people need is simplicity.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting that came up. Um, so we are in the process of reviewing our search feature. So it's something on our platform that we haven't given much attention to for a while. There's been other priorities. And we were thinking, like, well, what does the modern search experience look like for people? Particularly if, given we're a tech community, folks are used to interacting with, Chat GPT, Copilot, Claude, Gemini, Perplexity, the whole lot, right? And are having more of a conversational experience about discovering useful information. So we were like, okay, our search is like, I guess, a very basic version of a Google search. But then, you do a Google search now and you've got summaries, and then it tries to guide you towards an AI interaction with Gemini. Like, do we go down that route to kind of, because that feels like it's inevitable that that's how people will interact and want to find information. So it's like, but then that all comes back to the data. So if the data is captured in a helpful way, that whatever systems are being put in place to surface that information or go and find that information, just keep coming back to data. It's like data, data, data the whole time. I find that really, yeah, really interesting.
Yeah, interesting project to be building and improving your search, because
Mm.
it's such a key function, isn't it? But
Yeah,
so
yeah,
often we will go to places and the search doesn't do what we want it to do. So
yeah.
it'll be interesting to hear more about your process, how you decide what
Mm.
will work.
Yeah. I think, at the moment it's very much well, we believe that folks mainly rely on browsing. So our homepage is active, and we will feature items maybe 3 or 4 times a day. There'll be like a new item coming in because we try and move fast with stuff. But there's all this like stuff hidden behind that, well, if you don't see it on that day, you might not see it. like like a BBC News site that I guess we don't tend to go to BBC News to then, unless we're doing some research, we might like do a search for an archive piece. But typically, I guess we're going there to find the latest news, like what's happening right now, today, or over the last couple of days. And our platform has a bit of that. it is actually in the design of it is inspired by BBC News
Oh, nice.
site, funny enough. Um, but things move fast, and I feel like, how do we, and there's multiple ways we resurface that through the weekly newsletter, through just people asking a question and then be like, oh, there's this great talk on this particular topic. And then you kind of just remember it and can recommend it. Or others will be like, oh, maybe you should check out this thing. And we group that data into collections as well. But it does, it certainly makes me wonder, are members finding what they want to look for as soon and as quickly as possible? And do we want them to? Like, I know that sounds weird, but go with me on this one.
Yeah.
Like, if say someone's on our Slack, is it valuable that they end up asking the community, "Oh, I need some help with this. What would you recommend?" Versus finding it on the site and then not having an interaction with another member. So it's like there's something about that, like we see when we interact with AI tooling. I'm like, oh, I could ask my teammates for some help or advice on that, but I'll just ask Claude and see what Claude thinks. Like, we're missing that, right? And I'm losing that connection potentially. I don't think I am, but I could potentially lose that connection with my teammates because I'll just get advice from Claude or Claudette, and it's like that's it. So are we potentially stopping members from connecting with each other by giving them the answers so easily? I don't know.
It's an interesting one, isn't it? I agree, and it's on my mind too. With any AI feature that gets like rolled out, we use the Circle platform, and for a while they were rolling out different AI features that were member facing, and I had to think, oh, is this what people want when they come to? Do they want an AI summary of all the comments on this post, or do they want they come for the human connection? And actually, members were, I trialed a few things and kind of had that feedback from members, and now what I'm seeing platforms do is do the AI on the back end, so it's helping us,
right? Yes,
community builders, community managers, and I think that's the right place for it. However, I do think that there are always going to be our learners who will never write a post. It feels too much for them, too uncomfortable. But I do see that, like, so there's an AI bot in the community that you can DM it,
right?
And I see people go in there and say things, and they never post or comment, but they're frequent visitors. But they feel that they can ask the bot or explain their situation. So I think it's about having the options for people, but I'm the same. I'm so hesitant to do anything that's going to take away that lovely human connection, because we have lots of data that shows that that's when people really benefit from communities. It's the connections and but we know statistically we'll always have the people who will never post and never connect.
Of course.
Like to look on.
Yeah. It's fascinating, isn't it? It's like in our community, we talk about friction. Friction is typically seen as a negative thing. Like, we don't want friction when we're delivering software. We want a smooth release process. It goes out without any issues, and there's no friction between different roles and different handoffs of how things get built. Yeah, in some cases, we found it's helpful to have friction, like a layer for safety reasons, for like a guardrail, particularly if AI is coding stuff. Like, we need friction, a stopping point to get a human in the loop to check things. So I wonder if there's maybe there's a post brewing away here somewhere around like helpful friction for community members and unhelpful friction, and maybe putting the two next to each other, and the reasons why it's okay to introduce helpful friction, and and maybe the article, whatever this becomes, is it just describes like why this friction is helpful and it isn't necessarily bad.
Yeah, because friction creates more intent to then do the thing, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Do you follow Tom Ross? Do you know Tom Ross?
No, I don't know. Let me make a note of Tom Ross's name.
Yeah. Oh, he's so lovely. He's a community builder, mostly focuses on creator communities. So he teaches people and mostly on the Circle platform. But in his he writes great newsletters, and he's always really open and honest about sharing um, the things that went wrong and the learnings from them, as well
Ah,
as the things that went well.
rings a bell now. It's got the red and white and black kind of iconography. Is that right? Am I
Yeah,
thinking of the right guy? I
yeah,
might have got it wrong. Sorry. Please
yeah,
continue. Go for it.
yeah. No, it's fine. But anyway, he shared, I think it was last week or the week before, in his newsletter that he had run. This is where words leave my head. Not cohort groups, mastermind groups, I think.
Okay. Right. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
he said that many of them had fizzled out. A couple went well, many fizzled out, and
Interesting.
he thought that he didn't create enough friction. So his plan, phase 2 plan, was to create more friction and to really get people's intent for signing up to these. So yeah,
Interesting. Oh, let's go. I'll check it out. I think I found his site. If this is the right tomross.co. Learn how to build a successful online community. There
that's
we go.
great.
Yeah, brilliant. I'll go check it out.
Yeah.
Um,
But yeah, it comes back a bit to our the sign up form question. If we're creating, are we giving people more of an idea of what to expect in here,
mm,
what they're going to get, or should we just let them in, knowing that we can help them once they're in? It's just
yeah,
questions.
it's
There's never a right or wrong
yeah.
answer.
That's the
And we
thing.
expect one metric or the other as well, because it's like, we're getting great signups now, but I mean, I don't think it has affected the impact we're having, but it has it, or I don't know. You just
It's hard, right? It's like, and there's so many different members with so many different goals or ambitions or reasons to show up to a community, and it's like trying to address those needs in a way that is good for the members as well as the organization behind it. I think that's really is a huge challenge. I guess there's like I'd reflect on some guiding principles, and one of ours we have at the MoTaverse is always be inviting. It's like no matter what, like just invite people. Like they can say no or not right now or yes. Like ideally they say yes. So it's like inviting them to show up in certain ways. And we have many ways. We have like a dedicated contribution page. So it has a list of ways that people can show up, different things they can put themselves forward. Some a lot more high effort than others, of course. But it's just really clear. Well, we hope it's a really clear page. It's the page we send people to if like they're like, oh, what do I do? Like, what do I do next? Or what can I do to contribute? Um, but it's all rooted in always be inviting. And I think a lot of our members won't just go for it. So myself and Rosie and the rest of us, we really make an effort to just invite people, like message them, like, I reckon you'd be great at this. And I'm really interested in what you shared about this thing. Like, how about this? Like, here's one of the options, or you could also do this if you want to. And we see it, like members would be like, oh, really? You think that? And it's like, well, yeah, of course. So go for it. It's just like, what do you mean? Like, oh, what want someone want to hear from me? That kind of thing. And it's amazing. It's so surprising how many people like then get something out of contributing that they had no idea that they ever would in a format that they thought, oh, this might not be for me. Um, but it's rooted in always be inviting. It's like one of our core approaches. Just, invite people.
I love
Because
that.
it's like, what have we got to lose? What have they got to lose? It's either, it's just a good thing to do. And it does take effort. I'm not gonna pretend it doesn't. And none of it is automated. It is proper us observing what people are up to, joining the dots with some of our initiatives we've got going on, and then getting a sense of that person and just asking and feeling confident to ask. I think, in my early days as a community person, I'd be like, oh, I can't ask someone, like that's too much pressure, or like, oh, that's scary. But nowadays I'm just like, right, you'll get a message, you'll get an email, you'll get a message. And it feels like, I don't know, reflecting on it, it feels a bit strange to do that, but actually I think it's for the good of the member, right? That's the reason why we're doing it. Um, so yeah, we have to give people some encouragement, because they might not know that they need it, or just, you know, may not be aware of the opportunities that are in front of them.
Yeah, a personalized specific invite usually does do the trick, doesn't it?
Mm,
I've been guilty of sending out many mass emails trying to
mm,
find someone to do this, someone to help with that.
so
Um,
true.
but
Yeah.
it's like, that throwing your net wide. Whereas if you just have a bit of a think, maybe chat with some colleagues who might be asked to do this, and then you reach out personally, I think you'd be really good for this. Personalize it that bit. Hopefully, you've already got a relationship with them, and
Mm,
you're so much more likely to get a yes than doing that mass mail out. That's definitely something I've
yeah.
in my many years of work.
Totally with you on that. I can think of an initiative where, so we have a thing going on called Call for Insights, and Call for Insights is our invite someone onto a conversation. The two of us record for about 30 minutes. And we have a chat about the topic that they're interested in, that they would like to discuss. And in the early days, I did do that. I put out a blanket email to, I think, all of our members, like, "Who's up for a Call for Insights?" And it's a professional membership only option. So I think I maybe did tailor it just to those folks. And maybe I had one or two responses, and they ended up booking a time, and we recorded some good chats. But all others have been like, "Hey, are you up for this?" Like a direct message, whether it's email or on our Slack or via LinkedIn, and those are the ones that have worked. And
They do. And I'm still guilty of doing it. I mean, we're often trying to get video testimonials,
oh, cool.
and just something short. But again, I'll just sort of post about it or do a mass TM, and
Yeah.
it doesn't work. But if you message somebody that you started to build a relationship with, and
Mm.
oh, I know you said this nice thing, and would you mind ever so much? And it just works a lot better, doesn't it?
Yeah. I do wonder though, with the mass emails that we do, we're always sending emails. Of course we are, and having that email address is gold. Of course it is. Building newsletters and all that. I wonder if it still does have a positive impact, in the sense that, say, let's take an example where, I'll use the one I shared earlier on, or the ones you mentioned, where even though we have sent a blanket email, that's maybe planted a seed, or at least raised some awareness if they read it, of course. And then when you go in with the individual ask, or like, they're like, oh yeah, that rings a bell, 'cause I think I read an email about it a couple of weeks ago. So maybe it's not as fresh, or not as like, oh, this is new, or I hadn't heard about it. It's like, it's just a stepping stone to then, for that person to make that decision. So they have got a bit of info already. Maybe, I don't know. That's
No, I like
hopeful
that.
thinking, but perhaps.
It's that extra nudge, and there's that thing, isn't there, in marketing, and I can never remember how many it is, but you have to see something 14, 16 times before
Something
you
like that.
actually have the intent. We remember the brand, or you have the intent to purchase it, whatever it
Yeah.
may be. But I think, and it's something that I always sometimes feel a bit guilty about, is repeating myself, pestering, but actually I kind of like it when people do it to me. I'm like, "Oh, thank you for reminding me. I was gonna do it, but
Yeah.
I did, but I will." It's because it's catching you at the right moment as well, isn't it? And it's
Yeah.
the same for our members. You need to catch them at the right moment when they have that time to digest the information and fill in your survey or do something. And, you know, yeah, that's so important.
It's so true. It's so true. And it comes back to your point you made earlier around, we're all busy, we're all feeling overwhelmed. So it's got to work on that members' terms and their context and their whatever their energy is at that point in time, for that week or that month or that year, like where they're at. And we can encourage as much as we can, but it is on them to make that decision. And I think there's also, I sometimes see this with some of our members because there's some really, really good people. They're like, they feel really bad and they feel guilty when they don't reply, when they eventually do, like, oh, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, no, you don't have to apologize. Like, seriously, don't, we've all got stuff going on. There's some people like, and then I feel guilty, like, I put pressure on someone. And then you just go, like, what's going on? There's all this pressure going on. Um, but like, that is just the reality. And I think as community professionals, community builders, that level of acceptance and patience, that just is the reality. That, we sometimes may think, why didn't that campaign work as much? Or why aren't people just signing up for this thing? Or why aren't people doing the thing we want them to do? And it's just sometimes that level of acceptance that is just the way things are, and that's okay. And that's that. And it's not like admitting defeat or going, okay, we'll give up. I don't think we give up. We just kind of work out, well, let's, try a slightly different approach, or let's just accept the fact that maybe it's all going to happen in 2 weeks' time or a month's time or whatever. Easier said than done, though, right? When we got targets and we want to see things move faster. But I think one of our skills is patience, is what I'm getting at.
Yes, needs to be. And I think there's kind of an ethical dilemma in being a spammy,
Yeah.
Where does that line quite lie? We all know that there are some things we would, you sign up for something and suddenly you're getting a sales email from them every day. We know that is bad. That's bad spamming. We don't like that.
Yeah.
Whereas some people do need a few more nudges to get back into the community. So it's trying to figure out, isn't it? Where's the line between being helpful and not annoying?
Yeah.
But it will be in different places for different people. So some people, I know some of our members love to have their email notifications on for everything, and they'll because they don't want to miss out. So like the hardcore fans, and then the others are like, oh, you're sending me too many emails. So I mean, maybe
so
can't
hard.
wait. You have to make peace with the decision you make, where you sit on that line, I suppose, and be happy with it.
It's a great way of framing it. Like I imagine I don't know whether it's a seesaw or just a scale, like helpful and annoying. You kind of, we have to pitch ourselves on that each week. Like, can I just nudge it to slightly more annoying? Or
Oh, no.
can I nudge it to being more I don't know.
It's end of month. I've got some targets to hit. I'm going to slide myself up the annoying scale.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, crank it up, everyone. Sorry about that.
Oh, dear.
But also like including that in the email itself, just to make it really meta. I appreciate that this is really annoying, but here's the reason why. And we're being honest about how annoying this is, because look at this scale.
Yeah. Yes, you could almost have your annoying scale on the bottom of each email, just where we're at the moment.
Brilliant. And then if you wish to give us feedback, we've got a lovely survey for you to fill out.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Oh,
Excellent. Well, was there anything else that you happened to spot in your conversations, or anything else that's been going on this week in community that might be up for discussing?
I mean, I briefly touched on it, but I think more positive, hopeful sentiment around AI now. Now that it's helping us on the back end more, I think that's a really exciting place to be. And the first talk on day 2, so the more conferencey type day, was by Marius Chorta, who is head of community at HighLogic, and he had these different AI personas that we could be as community managers.
Interesting.
And he wanted us to be the hunter, like hunting for value. And I really like that mindset of it, as in that all this stuff that we've struggled with for years, ROI being one of them. Now we've got tools that can help us show how amazing community can be. And I found that thought quite exciting and hopeful as to, I'm just so passionate about just providing members with value and impact through community. And I think it's such a hard thing to demonstrate because it's not really tangible always. But just to think that maybe AI could help us crack this a bit more, um, that was exciting to me, and it kind of ties in with data as well. I think it's like we can all be data analysts now. So yeah, it's got my brain ticking this week as I get myself back into my BAU, and
Mm,
we've got Claude for Business now, which only happened a couple of weeks ago. So
it's not.
I'm feeling kind of excited, but mindful that I don't let my brain get too frazzled.
Yeah, that's it.
Wow, there's a lot of new things to be taking on, isn't it?
Mm. That sounds interesting. That's yeah, kind of nice take on it. Like, because I think yeah, the opportunity to outsource some of the tasks that maybe we've not ever had the capabilities to have anyway. Like it would be like hire a dedicated role or hire a dedicated data analyst. Like we can find ways to outsource that. And maybe as community professionals, we should start sharing some of those skills with each other. It's something we've tried to do in our MoTaverse community, where we've created some skills that will help people in the quality profession, and people can download that Claude skill and they can just run it themselves. They can give it a go, and they can iterate on it. They can share their thoughts and feedback, test it out, make it their own, do whatever they want with it. It's just free and available Claude skill. So I wonder, yeah, what those Claude skills would look like for us community builders, and how they respect IP for a particular community, and data privacy and all that stuff. The one I can think of that would be very universal for all of us community builders, it's one that Rosie created, is the GIF creator skill.
Ooh.
It's hilarious. You upload a zip file of images, however many you want, and then it says how fast you want the GIF to be, frames per second. Do you want it in this order, that order? And then you just answer these questions, and then it creates this GIF. It's brilliant. I've used it so much, and it just does a really good job of creating a GIF.
Ah,
And that's a Claude skill. So yeah, it's one of those fun skills where actually it does save time, and you don't have to go elsewhere to create a fun GIF. But there we go.
it's so important to have a bit of fun, isn't it, in everything?
Yeah,
As well as all
totally.
the serious stuff that we do. And actually, at London Community Week during Rosie's session, I downloaded her skill. She shared
Oh
3 skills
yes,
with us.
yes,
And I uploaded the skill that helps find problems within the community, like
nice.
kind of evolving problems that we could solve, like
Yeah, it's very
trends,
cool.
which was super insightful. So that was my very first Claude skill, and I now need to learn how to write one myself. Um, but I think it's a lovely idea to then be sharing them with each other, because I was so grateful to download Rosie's and give it a go. And I'm sure,
Yeah.
especially, there must be so many things that you could take bits out that were too specific, but we must be able to share so many with each other.
Oh yeah, tons, right? Like, yeah, you just yeah. There's also, I'm just thinking about all the skills that we created and thinking, oh, what can we make shareable for other community professionals? I'm sure there's plenty. Um, but yeah, why not? And then it's like, I like it when people riff and jam on each other's work. You kind of take it and make it your own, or give it a slightly different version of it so it can do something slightly different. Um, that's where it also gets interesting as well. So, yeah, maybe we should create this database of Claude skills. I
Yeah.
think, well, we've got those three on Rosie Land, on Rosie's. I think, yeah, if I remember the URL, is it rosie.land slash AI something or other? Anyway, we can add it to the show notes. There you go for
We'll
folks
add
to
it.
check.
Yeah. And this is the start, invitation to start sharing our skills with each other and build
Yeah.
open source database. Is that open source?
We could call it open source. Yeah, it's available to people to access, and then people can. While I guess it might not have what's the word I'm looking for, like version control, where someone can fork someone's work and then they can then send it back. It could be people could just create their own version and say, "Oh, here's another version of this if you want," and explain how it's different. So yeah, let's call it open source.
Yeah,
I
cool
like
open
it.
source will make me feel a bit more developer-y and a bit more
Yeah, it's cool. Open source community Claude skills. It's, it's a snappy one. That's
Ah,
brilliant. Uh,
great.
awesome. Well, I'm doing a quick time check, and it does look like we are coming to the top of the hour.
Yeah.
Loads of good stuff we covered, Nicola. Um, any other final thoughts before we wrap up today's episode of This Week in Community?
Oh, final thoughts. I think hope England win the football tonight.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, have a good enjoy everybody watching. Enjoy.
Yeah, we shall see.
Just a bit of fun, isn't it? Just a bit of
Just a bit of fun. There's no pressure. No pressure. It's just 4 years or 60 years, depending on
yeah,
how we want
yeah,
to count it.
yeah. Ah,
Awesome. Well, Nicola, it's been an absolute honor and privilege to get to co-host with you today. We should do this again.
we should.
And
It's
yeah,
really lovely to have, really be able to get deep into some chat and some meaty topics. They're really nice. Like you said, we've not the high level chat, we've been able to have a proper chat, which is lovely.
awesome. Yeah, likewise. It's super important that we keep these conversations going. But yeah, we do, encourage folks to go check this out on YouTube. If you are watching this on YouTube, thank you. You can go back to all the previous episodes as well. All of our future episodes will be uploaded. So you can just look for at This Week in Community on YouTube. Should be able to find it. And we'll add some of the helpful links that we've shared in this episode. That will be in the show notes for people to check out. But yeah, in the meantime, enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll speak to you all soon.
You too. Bye.
Take care, Nicola. Bye.
Bye bye.